o'clock. And where this is a regularly called city council meeting. We'll welcome all of our guests, including KJIW and Helena-West Daily World or Daily Week World, excuse me, and anybody else that might be on present as guests or just watching or checking in. Miss Sandy, call the roll.
Ms. Ford. Mr. Frank. Mr. St. Columbia.
Present.
Ms. Crockett.
Present.
Ms. Davis.
Here.
Mr. Etherly.
Here.
Okay, we have 2 absent, 4 present.
Okay, so we see quorum. Is Mr. Carter available yet? Judge
Yes,
Carter?
he's on. He's on.
I'm here, Mayor.
I'm sorry, Judge, I just skipped over the treasurer's report. So Mr. Turner, do you want to give us the treasurer's report?
Yeah, like I said, I have issued the treasurer's report to the city council and other elected officials yesterday. I didn't get a chance to pour through it today like I usually do. They got kind of sidetracked today. The auditors came by and I kind of got a little sidetracked today. And there were a couple of things I wanted to discuss. I didn't get a chance to analyze it like I really wanted to. And so what I kind of want to do is look through it, get a good chance to look through it tomorrow and kind of send the city council a summary of some items in the general fund tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. If that's okay with them.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Turner?
It's okay with me.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll thank you, Mr. Turner.
Okay.
And yeah, I know we've had some auditors in today, so that's always got to come first. So we appreciate your hard work on that. Judge Carter, so we're going to go ahead and recognize you at this point. Welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. I guess I'm back here again. I was at the meeting the last 2 weeks ago, asking for the $15 an hour base pay for the deputy clerk position. I think there was some more support at the last meeting, but we needed, I believe we needed to have the ordinance in order for council to vote on that. And I think that there is an ordinance now that I believe Mr. Turner had actually sent last month. And I'm hoping that that same proposed ordinance be sufficient. And I know some of the council members indicated that they would be more likely to support my proposition if the other deputies were to get a increase in their pay. I'm open to any suggestions, and I guess at that I'll leave it to any questions or suggestions or anything from the council.
So, excuse me, I'm just going to open up for questions or from members of the council.
I was under the impression that he was going to bring suggestions of the raises for the other 2.
I mean, I'm open to any suggestions. I don't know. Whatever the council thinks is fair, I'm certainly on board with. Right now, they're currently, one is making $16.48 an hour. The other is making $16.60 an hour. That comes out to roughly $34,278 and $34,535. What I'm asking for is $15, and that comes out to $31,200. I'm open to any suggestions that the council may have about what they want to do with the two deputies that are already there.
I have a question. And Mr. Turner, I mean, you may, well, anybody who can recount the numbers. How much what's the difference in current pay versus where we were? So what's the savings right now? So we'll know what we have to deal with. If you understand my question, it may sound confusing, but there's a reduction in pay based on the former clerk leaving. So and the two former employees. So how much are we saving now? So we'll know what pool we have.
Well, I can answer some of that. The former clerk, Ms. Carter, was making $54,717. The current clerk is making $36,000. So that's a difference of about $18,700. The other deputy was making $13.46 an hour, which is right at 28,000. So on that end, it would be going up about $3,000. But like I say, it's an $18,000 reduction, so it's about a $15,000 increase in the budget. That, if my math is correct on that.
Good afternoon, Mr. If I may, this is Chris Franklin. This is where I stand on this. Judge Carter, I know that you want what you want, but at this point, I cannot see us discuss. We've had more discussion about district court clerks than we had about police, fire, and anybody else. And I feel like this. I'ma say it again. I'm not in favor of giving not one dime. I understand the workload, but like I told you, for election has consequences. And like I said before, if you had not fired these people, you would not be looking for somebody. You should have evaluated these people before you decide to fire them. I think like this. Right now, we need police officers. I understand the mayor, Mr. Joe St. Columbia, always saying that we need good qualified people. You don't even know what kind of people you had because you fired them. You didn't even give them a 90-day process to evaluate them to see what kind of people that you had. And again, with the person that you hired over in district court, we don't know how competent she is because she's supposed to be the deputy clerk. She's supposed to have a dual role. She should be able to do the job until you find some people or to evaluate some more people. But I don't think you should be trying to get somebody to come in and we can't get decent police officers. We want to give, and Mr. St. Columbia and the mayor are in favor, but think about this. You're going to pay this person more than you would pay a police officer coming in. The mayor and Mr. St. Columbia are fighting hard for this person, and we need police officers at a decent wage. So that's my thing. I'm not in favor of it. I understand that it's hurting. It may be hurting the court, but if you had to evaluate the people that you had before you decide to fire them and decide to come in and say what their savings, well, Ms. Carter, before you fired her, was doing the job. It seemed like all this stuff plays back into what happened a year and a half ago. The same people were fired a year and a half ago. So my thing is this: if you want some people, you need to work with what you got, or bring them in at the starting salary and let them work their way up. The police officer cannot come in and get a top salary; they have to work their way up. We've got other people who are looking for raises, and I don't think anything will be a slap in their face because you say you need competent people. You train what you got. If this person can come in, evaluate them in the 90-day process, 180-day process, whatever the handbook says, go with that. But do not try to. We had 3 meetings on you asking for this amount of money, and it's not gonna work from my side. For me, I don't know what everybody else decide, but for me, train what you got, let them work their way up the ranks because you got people been here 20 years have not received the kind of salary that you're asking for.
Mr. Mayor, Joe St. Columbia.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to take up a lot of time in conversation about this. First of all, I think that I'm sorry for that problem I'm having. I'm for raising the police pay considerably. I think we're underpaying our police people. I think we've got a lot of people that are underpaid. But right now, that's not the question. The question is the clerk, district clerk. I'm not going to try to compare that job with police or anything else. And I'll be glad to talk about the police department later. But, you know, this person, judge, as I understand, will be making the lowest of everybody in there. Is that correct, Judge?
That's correct. Even without
You're not
an increase for the other two deputies, she would be making $3,000 less per year than the lowest paid other deputy.
Yeah, so I mean, she's not coming in and getting paid more than anybody else in the office. So, I think if you go back to what I've always said, you got to pay people for the work they do, and our people are everywhere, in the water company, in the police department, in the fire department, everywhere. Unfortunately, they're underpaid. I believe that, and we can work on those things too. But I think right now we're talking about this job. $15 is not a lot of money, and I'm for paying the $15, and I'm for raising the police and everybody else's pay. But let's get this out of the way. We don't need to keep dragging it around. I think we need to go ahead and approve it and get it over with. $15 is not a lot of money, and president has even said that. So let's move on forward. I am for paying the $15, and it's not over above what the others are getting, like the judge said. So she's going to come in at the bottom of the totem pole at $15. So if I have to make a motion, I'll make it. But that's the way I feel about it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Other members of the council.
And just my thoughts, and I hear what Mr. Franklin is saying, and I do agree that we have issues regarding pay for police officers, but that was why we reduced the number of slots in the budget to make room for pay increases. We just haven't addressed that yet. And that created a savings in the budget. That was the entire discussion. And I'll say for the 1 millionth time, it wasn't about defunding police, it was about paying our police officers better. And that was the step that we take during the budget process. So if we follow that through to its conclusion, we have gone halfway to addressing the police issue. The other thing is, and the statement about elections having consequences are actually absolutely true. They're true in every election. But I don't think those consequences, and I'm saying to Mr. Franklin, I don't think those consequences fall in our footsteps. The issues that you raise about people not being properly reviewed or whatever, I think those go to the electorate and the judge. He made those decisions, and he'll have to live with or go down with those decisions. But as the body with the authority to keep that office running, I think it's probably more important. And I say this because I see it on a daily basis. And I'm afraid for the people who have cases pending, who have matters pending in district court, and those matters not being resolved. There's a lot of business that comes through there that doesn't necessarily involve the two clerks who are in there. And I can't tell you how distressing it might be for an individual who has a claim pending in district court, and it's in a pile of paper at somebody's desk that's vacant, and they can't get it heard by the court. So we might also have to answer for those issues. We didn't create the problem, but we have an ability to address the problem. And we have an ability to address where the problem, we have the ability to say, we didn't create it. We had nothing to do with it. We did our part 2 years ago by saying, no, you can't do this. This is the way it works. And at the end of the day, The judges have the decision making, and we have control over the money. That's absolutely true. But sometimes a standoff, and this is just my view, sometimes a standoff where it can be resolved, even if I disagree, might be the best way to address the issue. And so let me throw out a number while I'm talking, because I'm going to be quiet after this. The request is that the incoming clerk make about $1.54 an hour more than the base pay allows. And I would say that the current clerks should get a nearly proportional increase in pay, because they're going to have to. I understand the incoming clerk has worked in court before, but she hasn't worked in district court, so they're going to have to give her the rundown and help to train her, as well as the other things they're doing to help to train the new clerk. So I would suggest a nearly proportional, and I'll just throw out a number of $1.25 per hour. I think all of those numbers together would be somewhere less than around $9,000, which is about half of the savings, and very doable. And so I'll tell you that's kind of a number that I just pulled out right now, and you guys can take it from there in terms of what you think about it, whether you like it, dislike it, agree, disagree, whatever.
Mr. Esley, I think you kind of misspoke on I think what you said base pay, it'll be $1 more than the base pay. I think you meant to say it'd be $1 and something more than what she currently makes, because the base pay is minimum wage. It's $11.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going from the previous employee. It would be an increase from the previous employee. So yeah, I'm sorry. My mistake.
And Mr. Esley, I would say this. When you was like that, we have the right to write the with the finances, but the judge also can allow to let this person come to work, let them go through evaluation process. I understand the stress of these other people, but the judge has to realize this, that he created the stress for these employees, not us. Because if he had just evaluated these people to see what they could do, instead of getting rid of them, it's like this. I mean, when you fire somebody, you ought to be saying, well, I got to get somebody in the office to hire, to train them so I can have a backup. The two deputies that are in there, they under stress, not because of something we created, because of what the judge has created. I do feel sorry for the clerks, but I don't think it's fair that they have to train two people. Another person, they already got one person that got to train, because this person that got over there, she don't know anything about courts. But the thing that this is, it's like the judge I shouldn't have to dance to his music. He should dance to our music, with saying that we're gonna do this fairly. Hire the person that you got, let them come in. Why are we fighting so hard for a lady that they're talking about that's coming in, and we got other employees that have been here, that have proved themselves, that proved their loyalty to this city. But here we are, steady fighting for a person that the judge wants so bad, when he could let this person come in, follow the policy. Now right now they're saying we're financially good, but in a moment when they say we can't make payroll or we can't do this, then what the judge gonna be at? It's gonna be, because everything gets blamed on the city council. And if water leaks, blame on the city council. So I'm not ready to go back down this road again. Hire the person, because they're not going to blame the mayor. They're not going to blame the judge. They'll say what the city council did. We hire this person. We need to stick to I'm sticking to my guns. I do. The judge needs to let up and say, I'm going to hire this person in at the rate and let her work her way up. And if the person can't do that, Walmart don't bend their rules. No, I mean, experience or no experience. Mr. St. Columbus is saying we need qualified people. But what are you telling your current employees, that they're not qualified enough because you're fighting so hard for this person? My thing is this: if you want this person, pay them what the base pay ordinance says. It's $11, minimum wage, $11. Let them come in. I'm not in favor of doing that. I understand understand that we got people that are struggling to work in that office, but I don't think it's fair to our employees. The judge fired these two people, so he knew the kind of stress that he was going to put on these folks in district court. So the judge has to realize that he studied coming back, and my answer is going to be the same. He should have thought about this before he fired these people. He should have had conscience say, hey, listen, I'm going to put these people in the bind because the judge is not in district court every day. I think it's maybe 2 days or 3 days a week that he's in the courts. The judge doesn't have to handle this paperwork. These deputies do. You got 3 people in the office, 2 deputies. The deputy clerk, she should be able to do dual roles that she getting paid for as a department head. Look at the other department heads we have, or not department head, but as a deputy, as a top person in the courts. We got Mr. Jones running, doing all this other stuff. So she's getting paid the money. She should do it. If the judge wants somebody, he needs to hire them in. That's my position. I'm not getting off for it. If you all vote for it, it's fine. But I will vote no every single time until the judge follow the rules. I'm not going to break base pay because he comes here and said, oh, I really need somebody. If you want something, follow the rules and you can get it.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Any other members of the council? Is there a motion? And Mr. Valley, are you on?
I am on, yes, sir. I am on.
We have an ordinance prepared for this.
Mr. Turner did it last month.
Okay.
When the judge first came. I don't know the number. Mr. Turner, do you have or Ms. Clerk, Madam Clerk?
Number 12.
Because he emailed it to you all over a month ago with the $15. Is that correct, Mr. Turner?
That was the original. Yeah. Okay, I'll make a motion that.
Mr. Eppley, would you like to restate and so we can make a motion and move on?
I'm sorry, I'm muted. I don't know, maybe we need to do it in two separate motions because one is going to be to, if there's going to be a motion to approve the base pay, that'll have to be one motion. And then the proposal on the 2 other clerks would just be that could be just done by motion. It doesn't have to be in the ordinance. So.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's do this then. I'm sorry, Joe. Joe was about to make a motion. I'll stand down.
I believe Mr. St. Columbia's motion is to adopt the base pay with the ordinance number 12, 2021. Suspend the rule, place it on its 3rd and final reading the title only. I think that's his motion. Is that correct, Mr. St. Columbia?
That's correct. Yes, sir. That's correct.
I'll second it.
I so move.
So Mr. St. Columbia moves, and Mr. Heatherly seconds the motion. Is everyone clear on the motion? Any questions or comments, further comments about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Rocket. Davis,
Yes.
Etherly,
Yes.
Yes. Forward,
Abstain.
Franklin,
No?
St. Columbia.
Yes.
I have 4 yeses, 1 abstention, 1 no.
So the motion passes to put it on 3rd and final reading. So is there a motion for Mr. Valley? Is there a motion to put it on final reading? I mean, to read the
Title only.
Yeah,
read the title.
I was trying to pull it up to read the title only. Madam Clerk, do you have a copy? So you can just read the title.
Yes, be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Helena-West, Helena, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to fix the number and base pay of full-time city employees and elected officials, to amending all prior such ordinances and for other purposes.
Now there needs to be a motion to adopt.
I so move.
Mr. St. Columbia makes final adoption. Is there a second?
Second.
Ooh, that was a tie.
Printed out directions to get here today.
I'm not sure. Sandy, I'll let you decide who did that. The motion is
Okay,
made.
both of them.
Now remember, they're not programmed.
Are there any other questions or comments about the motion for final passage? If not, call the roll.
St. Columbia,
Yes.
Forward,
Abstain.
Davis,
Yes.
Franklin,
Nope.
Etherly,
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention, 1 no.
Motion passes. Is there an emergency clause on this or not? Mr. Valley or Ms. Ramsey?
Yes,
There is.
there is an emergency clause.
Is there a motion to adopt the emergency clause on, and it's ordinance, I'm sorry, it's ordinance number what?
12,
Well,
I so moved. Ordinance number 12, the emergency clause.
Mr. St. Cloud moves the adoption of the emergency clause on ordinance number 12. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. David seconds the motion. Any other questions, comments about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Davis,
Yes.
Ford,
Abstain.
St. Columbia,
Yes.
Franklin,
No.
Crockett,
Yes.
Etherly,
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention, 1 no.
Motion passes.
Yeah, the ordinance passes. The judge is authorized to hire. The clerk needs to publish it immediately so that we won't have any hangups for the validity of the ordinance. But it's enacted immediately because you adopted the emergency clause.
Thank you, Mr. Valiant. Don't go anywhere. Thank you. The motion passes. Thank you, Judge Carr.
Thank you. Does the council want to address the other deputy positions while we're here?
Yes, I would like to move to increase the hourly rate for the 2 current employees, deputy clerks, by $1.25 per hour.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Mr. Bradley moves that we increase the wage for the other deputy clerks. Is this an additional ordinance? Mechanical question. Or is this-
No, it just has to be a resolution. They can vote on it because it's already above the base pay. They can just vote to appropriate the money.
Okay. Right, because they're already above base pay, right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks. So, Ms. Sandy, do we have a resolution number?
Number 7,
Okay. Mr. Edley moves that we adopt resolution number 7. Mr. Fleming seconds to increase the salaries accordingly as described for the other 2 deputy clerk positions. If there's no other questions or comments, call the roll.
I have a question.
Mr. Go ahead.
Okay. So how would this affect their budget? So because we're still spending money. How what are the savings? So how do we get to the was it 125? How do we get here?
Well, 40 hours a week times 52 weeks is 2,080. So $1 an hour will be 2,080, and 1/4 of that would be 500 and what is it? 520. What's Turner? So you're looking at $2,600 each raised approximately, if I'm correct with my math.
Okay, so let me.
And so that's a total of $5,200. I'm approximating, and I think the judge is saying just looking at the 2 salary positions against each other, the former clerk versus this clerk, he had 17,000. So that's still approximately $12,000 roughly. Now, Mr. Turner could correct me in the math, but I was just doing it off the top of my head. But I went to Helena-West School District, but we were great. But
I think it's, I did a calculation that 125 would be increasing $2,600. And I think when I did the other calculation, according to what Judge Carter, I was using his numbers. I don't think I did any calculations, but it sounded right. And that will be a net decrease of $15,517.
That'll be the savings.
Yes.
Oh man, I guess y'all haven't worked out. I guess maybe I should pay more attention. But I'm just still figuring, because in the long run of this, what Okay, just go ahead with you. Go ahead with it. I'm just gonna
Mr.
stay
Franklin,
back.
basically, what they're saying was the
I
clerk.
understand. I understand. I understand what they're saying. I
Okay.
understand all that. I mean, I'm not missing that. But what I'm concerned about is, you got other people here. I mean, and I'm not knocking anybody for getting what they're getting, but I think that you got people who was told, let's let your motion pass. I mean, whatever y'all gonna do pass. But I just feel like that we got other people in the city who working, and we hadn't rewarded them as well. It's like this is how we piecemeal this thing. Every time it comes around, we piecemeal like this. And you got some people saying, well, you got people working for the city 20 years. And I know you're probably tired of it, but I could care less. I just figure like this. When we'll start doing stuff the right way, because the mayor gonna come back with these other people. Now, are we gonna be able to afford these other people these $8,000 and $10,000 raise they're asking for? If we gonna do this, if we do this, might well give everybody what they're asking for. The mayor's chief of staff and everybody else, the deputies, and whatever they want. Let's get to them. If we're gonna do it like this.
Can I say something, Mr. Franklin?
I mean, this y'all can say whatever you want to say. I just don't think it's fair.
Well, my guy's been on this agenda since last year trying to get a raise. And I understand what you're saying, Mr. Franklin, but I'm asking for a raise for my 3 people too, since it's already been on the agenda. They've been on the agenda since November last year.
Well, your folks been, you know why your folks think they been held hostage. Think the CEO of the city. Just put that out there. Do what y'all got to do, because I got work to do.
All right, any other comments or questions from members of the council on resolution number 7, final passage? If not, Ms. Ramsey, call the roll.
St. Columbia,
Yes.
Franklin, Forward,
Abstain.
Etherly,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
Franklin. Seems Mr. Franklin has left us. That's 4 yes, 1 abstention, 1 absent.
Resolution 7 passes. Anything else? We don't. Anything else, Judge Carter?
That's all I have. I just want to thank the council for their consideration and working with me on this. And just thank you all again.
Thank you, Judge Carter. Quick post comment. If we can help you with the scanning project over there on your side of the building to help reduce your paper and file issues, please visit with us and we'll do what we can. I know we're kind of running out of physical space, and so whatever we can do to help you, just don't let me forget to do what we can to help. So thank you, Judge Carter, for your time.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members.
Okay, Mr. Etherly, do you mind if we jump up and handle your request before we go on the longer? Do you have any problem with that?
I don't, and I emailed out the resolution dealing with water department due dates, and I since talked to the city attorney, who says he thinks it needs to be in an ordinance format, and he asked me if I would email it over to him so he could make the changes to it. So I'm going to do that, and he's going to resubmit it as an ordinance instead of a resolution.
Okay, so we want to wait on that.
I can do it over the course of the night as soon as Mr. Etler sends it to me, and I can make the adjustments to it to make it from a resolution to an ordinance. But in pertinent part, it just deals with the water issue in the emergency. Y'all can take it up while I make the changes, because he has emailed me a PDF for it version. Can you email me another version, Mr. Etler, so I can edit it? Yeah, y'all can go ahead and discuss it, and we can get it done here in a few minutes.
Well, we'll pick up the discussion when you're ready for action on it. Because we actually have something else that's not on the agenda, so it would be something that y'all have to agree to consider. But well, I got Mr. Jones on here especially. We've talked about this already, and we've had a briefing on it already, so I won't revisit all of that. But Mr. Valley, you did get the ordinance, I believe, or the ordinance on bidding ready for tonight. We just didn't get on the agenda in time, and the council.
Yes. I received a information from Mr. Jones regarding to a hot box. It's $26,055.70, I believe it was off the top of my head. But it was a hot box that's needed urgently for the street department. The public works department. And Mr. Jones and American Father explained about. I drafted an ordinance for that tonight, waiving bidding for the immediate purchase, and I believe that the clerk sent it out to you all this evening because it was delivered to her. Once we got it, we immediately got it done and got it to the clerk.
Just, I guess, to review first, we'd have to agree to take it up. Secondly,
Yes.
we did have the briefing, and to make a long story short, we've had many of you might have seen an old pickup bed running around. Nowadays, it's on the back of the code truck, and I've gotten a lot of comments about why are the code people running around with a trailer that looks unregistered and kind of abnormal. But that thing has been around since the 90s, I'm told. With cold mix, we had, no news to you. We've had a really tough winter. We have more potholes and bigger and deeper potholes than we already had. What this does is modernize our efforts to deal with potholes, and it is mobile. We can put it behind our truck, and it has sealant on it. It makes a hot mix on site and allows us to fill the pothole, seal it, and move on to the next one without going back to the shop and without dealing with the other sort of logistical issues. It's also, and Mr. Jones, you tell me if I'm wrong, but with my numbers, it's probably cheaper, at least per pothole, than cement. And aesthetically, it's better because it usually is matching the asphalt that surrounds it instead of a big white hole in the middle of the road. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Correct. Correct.
We've done a lot of big white hole cement fixes. And certainly concrete is in some ways more durable, but it's not as flexible. And so that's the reason so many, and it's also not as expensive. So that's one reason people move to asphalt. The hot mix asphalt is what this allows us to do on site. It's a pretty big leap forward for our pothole problems. And I know, Mr. Jones, I'll just let you take it from there. We've already briefed them, but the council tonight has to decide whether to take it up. And probably, Mr. Valley, I'll let you take it from there if the council does want to do that tonight.
Yes, sir. I think you said it all, Mayor. It's a 4-ton asphalt box. Once we to fill the holes up, then we can go back and got a sealer to it, keep water from seeking up on the side. The plate sealer also seals that hole. We ain't got to go back and revisit the hole, put no more asphalt there. It's a good machine. It'll cut back on, it'll save us a lot of money. We've been spending tremendous amount of money on potholes, street cuts and all that. So I'm asking if y'all would consider, let me go ahead on and get it. I think the price of it is $27,000 or $26,000.
$26.55.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
there's an ordinance in place that we were not supposed to fill the street when the street cuts are done. They're supposed to fill those with asphalt, not concrete. That was an ordinance set in place during the Hollowell administration. So
I know nothing about that.
It is.
Okay.
Well, this would help us comply with that ordinance then.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I remember at the last meeting or so that something was said about this. I'm sure maybe it's a dire need or whatever. But I just want to know why it didn't make the agenda when it took. It's 2 weeks ago. I just got an agenda for this meeting this afternoon. I don't understand, you know.
The reason it's not on the agenda is because when y'all met at the last meeting, you stipulated the only thing that you wanted on this particular agenda was to discuss the raises.
So
And
why
that
the
was
change?
But, and so I did not send this ordinance out to you at 4 o'clock because it was too late to send it out and it wasn't supposed to be on the agenda anyway.
I said the agenda came out late.
Yeah, but I had been sending you text messages about what was going to be on the agenda.
That's right, but there's an ordinance or something, that's a resolution that says that the agenda should be fixed and it should be sent to us or given to us by 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay,
Well, that's all true, and partly like with Mr. Etherly's, we talked about it, but we didn't have our ordinances ready. And there's there's nobody's fault here, and you don't have to take it up tonight. You don't have to take either one of them up tonight if you don't want to.
Well, I mentioned it.
But it would help us both with Mr. Etherly's ordinance and this one to move forward more quickly.
Mr. Mayor, I can
That
understand.
is
I can
your
understand
call, not my call. So
I can understand emergencies. I don't have a problem with that, but we never stick to what we're supposed to. We just, you know, it's loose, and I know that we can do better than this. We need to have our agenda. We need to have all the materials, to be able to go over them, and then we need to come and discuss and do what we need to do. I'm just saying this happens time after time after time. It doesn't seem to be getting any better. Thank you.
well, I don't disagree with you. We do add things at the last minute, and it is frustrating, I'm sure. So my apologies for that. We have a lot of issues, and we're just trying to move as quickly, expeditiously as we possibly can. But you don't have to take it up. That's your right. I mean, that's your call. I mean, I'm raising it because it does need to be done, but it doesn't have to be done. It can wait 2 weeks if we have to.
I have no problem with passing it tonight because it'll save us a lot of money, and I think we need to move on it.
Was that a motion?
Yes, sir. I'll make that a motion. Yes, sir. I think because the money we'll save is well worth it. We kick the can around too much. I think I'll make the motion. Yes, sir.
Mr. Valley, would the motion be to put it on? Can you help me out here? Legally?
It's a amend the agenda to add it to the agenda.
Yeah.
So Mr. St. Columbia moves that can we just add both ordinances?
Whatever you're trying to add to the agenda, you can do them both in one motion if that's what you want to do, or you can do them in 2 separate motions.
I mean, it's your call, but I think that would be the proper motion. If Mr. St. Columbia would like to make that one to add both the proposed ordinance regarding water bills and the proposed ordinance regarding the asphalt machine to the agenda.
That would suit me fine. Yes, sir.
Okay, so motion's been made. Is there a second? Is there a second to the motion to add those to the agenda tonight? Okay. Sounds like the motion died for lack of a second. So what we'll do at this point is move on to what is the main, and Ms. Ramsey's quite right. And again, I'll take the blame for that. I wanted to try and keep this limited because the other thing we put off every week is the questions about raises, and some of the comments made tonight. It should be said publicly that we have had budgets submitted that included raises and also evaluation merit-based raises. And we did approve a budget that included the COLA increase as well as the minimum wage increase that was mandated by the state, but still paid by the city. And I just want to make note for anybody listening that we approved that budget. So everybody got a 3% raise. Now, I say raise, the idea behind a COLA, of course, cost of living adjustment, is to keep pace with inflation, because if you don't do that, you're actually going backwards. So if you call it a raise, and I have called it a raise many times, I'm not sure that's really fair, because the point of a COLA is to keep people steady with inflation and their buying power, so they don't go backwards. That's really the goal of a COLA. But we did do that, and we added the increased minimum wage, and we added a COLA to those with minimum wage. And the other raises were all taken out in with the goal of passing a budget by the statutory deadline, and clearly that it merited more discussion. So we deferred that discussion about raises, merit-based raises, to later. And so that's what we're doing tonight. And having said that, I will open up that item on the agenda. And I think what was asked was, we're talking about incrementally. Well, the council, and I think it was a wise request, was to take these department by department. So we've dealt with the district court tonight. I don't have it alphabetically in front of me, but I think administration is next. And Mr. Turner, I might weigh on you pretty heavily here in the next few minutes on this, but
Excuse me, who said that we had to do them alphabetically?
well, I don't know any other, what way do you want to do it? If you don't want to do it alphabetically, we can do it anyway. That just seemed to be the, you go down the budget from the top, and administration is the top.
Yeah, but I think it's, and this is just my personal belief, I think it's some more people, more departments that need raises for administration. But this is just my, I know we was talking about the street and sanitation. They had actually been put into the budget, and they were supposed to be passed, but after all the other raises that we found that had been slipped in there, we had to go back and do it this way. And like Mr. Jones stated earlier, he has been on the agenda since November about this.
That's right. And so if there's no objection, we'll start with Mr. Jones, but I want to point out that those raises were in my budget that I submitted. So, so I do want to point out that nobody's waiting on me. So if we want to start with Mr. Jones, since he's on tonight, Mr. Jones, you want to go over the raises in your department?
Yes, sir. Mr. Romack and Mr. Strata, I think I got it at going to 48, if I'm not mistaken. And raise for Miss Pat Lenore to $15.
Mr. Turner, can you put that in the form of a position or title, since we don't really.
A deputy director.
To names, or we try not to anyway.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I mean, that's probably helpful, but we do need to discuss it in terms of positions in the budget, because the motion's has to deal with that.
That's pretty much it.
Were there any other positions in the Department of Public Works?
Actually, there, I mean, in the budget, they're not, it wasn't the Public Works Department in the budget.
So you want to go, by the way, it is in the budget, we can start with street sanitation.
Yes, sir. We can.
I thought,
You know, I don't think you guys created the actually the worst thing until after the budget was passed.
yeah, but I thought it was 45 for those, because I made the suggestion that even the deputy over the landfill be paid 45.
That's what was said during our discussion.
Okay, I was wrong on that. 45 for the deputy director, 15 for my clerk.
Is that $15 an hour?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fallow, how do we have to do this?
So I guess we need a motion, Mr. Valley, to approve the
Yeah,
raises.
I'm sorry, I was muted. It's not a base pay issue. This is a matter of salary. All these matters, they're already being paid. Well, I take that back. The issue, Ms. Turner, I guess we cleared that up in base pay, didn't we? In the base pay order, Ms. Turner and I had discussed, and I thought we discussed with you all, we may not have, because I talked to them numerous times about this, because we were changing the names in the base pay. Ms. Turner, the base pay we just passed, but the names changed.
As far as.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Yes.
So the name would change. So this is just a matter of the what the salary would be going forward, right?
Yes.
Right.
Like I
And
said,
that's
but like I said, in the budget, there are no deputy directors in the budget.
right. And so we were changing the name to deputy directors, which everybody agreed that these positions would be deputy directors, that they would be consumed into those departments. That's what the ordinance says as well, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And I think the only thing you're doing is appropriating the money, because in the budget it doesn't say, that's hyper technical, but the budget it just still has them as foremen and not deputy directors.
Yeah, but that
So-
can be, I mean, if you're amending the budget, you can change the title of the position
Right.
in the budget.
That's correct. And so to answer your question, Ms. Crockett, the only thing you're doing is appropriating money for deputy directors under that name. So it's just a motion and a second, and you can go ahead and get it done.
Thank you, Mr. Valley.
So move.
Second. I'll second that.
Ms. Crockett moves that we adopt the raises in the budget as stated by Mr. Jones regarding the street department.
Public, yes, street department, yes, yes.
In public works.
Public works
Public
department.
Works.
For all
Right,
streets.
because the deputy directors are now part of the public works. So it's the street division and the sanitation division.
And Ms. St. Columbia seconded the motion. And this is a budget resolution. So is this resolution number 8, Ms. Ramsey?
It doesn't need a resolution, it's just a motion.
Okay.
That's what I understand.
So motion made and second. Any other questions or comments about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Crockett,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Etherly,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Franklin, St. Columbia,
Yes.
Mr. Franklin,
If somebody let me talk, I've been muted out, so I can't vote, but I guess, yeah.
vote,
This is
Mr. Franklin.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. You can't vote
Now,
for them.
I got one question. Do this eliminate overtime? I want to do this right way.
Well, I don't, Mr. Jones, just a second. Sorry. So has everyone had their vote recorded?
No, Mr. Franklin hasn't.
That's what I've been trying to say, Mr. Mayor. I've been muted for a while, so I couldn't vote for the other folks either.
So
but I
what
guess-
is your vote?
What's your number? Yes.
What is your vote? Yes?
Did you just hear me get that wax out your ear? Yes.
Any other members of the council wishing to vote? If not, motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Jones, what was your question?
All right, do this eliminate overtime? This be salary, am I correct? No overtime or what?
Mr. Turner might be,
Yeah, that would be an exempt position. They're already management, but because of the wages that they earn,
Okay,
they considered exempt, but since they make federal minimum amount, they will be considered exempt employees.
okay, all right.
So is that if they don't get overtime or they do?
Do not, I thought.
They don't.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, but hold on, Mr. Turner, Mr. Ramsey, if I may. Now you remember we had this problem before when the assistant chief member. Do y'all remember that if they were not getting any overtime, that they had to be brought to a certain number, which I think was $50,000. Do y'all remember that? And we had to vote. We had to do a meeting that those people were getting $48,000. They were not getting any overtime. That the state was bringing them up to $50,000. Am I the only one to remember that?
Whatever that federal guideline that they were trying to pass, that didn't, I think it passed, but then I think some judge remanded it or something like that. So whatever that was at first, that minimum amount is not,
Passed the first time.
yeah, it was not, it's
Yeah,
not.
but
Like,
we get, but I understand that. But what I'm saying, we voted to pass it before. So even before this was put it up, we voted. That's how former department heads received $50,000. So I'm not crazy. I know that we did an ordinance that if they were, that's how the district court clerk then got the $50,000 she was getting, because we brought it. They said you had to bring everybody, since there was eliminating overtime, that those people had to be paid $50,000. So you all need to check that before you all start saying it, because that's what I remember. And I ain't crazy, so I've been here long enough to remember some things. But that I remember we had a meeting to bring those people up. So y'all may want to check that out.
Well, look here. I mean, I understand, but I remember some of that, Mr. Franklin. But I'm moving on with what we got right now tonight, man. And if it's gonna be more,
I understand it. I'm not saying. I'm just saying what would happen. You're gonna make a decision. I'm not asking to give more money. I'm just telling you all what we did a couple years ago. Because I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. Because I'm just trying to see what we did. So it's not nothing that I want people to get with the body thing that you get. But I'm just telling you what we did.
yeah, I'm familiar, but I thought a judge came in and overturned it, but I might be wrong. I knew it passed the first time, then it came back up, a judge overturned it, Supreme Judge or something. Like I say, I remember it coming up. But I appreciate what y'all done tonight.
What about Miss, what about your, what did she call your secretary?
I put you that third person that for that $15. That's all.
But we didn't vote on that, or did we?
Yeah, y'all voted on all three.
They put it all in one.
Oh, okay.
So having said that, we voted and approved that. Moving on to what department do y'all want to take next?
Yeah, I just have a question, and I don't care what department y'all go to, but there was some wrong done in the water department, Kevin Smith. You paid and I'm just saying so the body would know. There were some people that were told, that didn't get, that are in maintenance, heavy equipment operators. They didn't get their raises, but the other two people that got their raises. And I don't understand how the other people were forgotten. And I think Ms. Wesley handed out some to us earlier about it. And I think they only gave the two other people their raises and forgot about the other folks who handle heavy equipment. Heavy equipment. That's just something I want to throw out there, since the mayor is always saying they're doing stuff above standard. You check on your employees, Kevin. Don't give some folks something and forget about the rest of them. And that's how the games you play. But you check on all your employees, because all of them are valued. So the folks in the water department, I'm sure you got the handout as well, so as we got it. Check on your folks.
Well, I did follow up on that and was told that the people who were saying that were already being paid above the wages that we increased with the council. But we'll look at that again, and I'm not aware of any written communication.
Well, it's one young man.
But let me finish. What I was told when I inquired about it was that the people concerned about it, they were already making more than what the raises would have given them. So, but it's still kind of an open question. I haven't received anything in writing from anybody that I've seen anyway. Now, I may have received it and not seen it yet. That's fair. But I haven't seen anything in writing about any employees who were eligible for the raises who did not receive them. And so if that is the case, then I need to make sure that that gets to me, and we'll look into it. And if anybody didn't get the raise who deserves it or who qualifies for it, I will absolutely make sure they get those raises. So, all right.
Well, I have something. And I just want to say this because I've been wanting to say it for a while, and you can mute me if you want to. But at this point, Mayor, I get sick and tired of you getting on these Zoom calls, lying to these folks, and you know good and well what's going on in this city. I am so pissed because all you do is lie to these folks. I'm sick of it. And mute me out if you want to, but I got to tell you this. When are you going to tell the folks the truth and stop lying? You don't never know nothing. All you do is tell these folks these false lies. You got some folks that you know ain't got a high school diploma, but you're making sure they get what they got to get. These folks out here in all these departments, check yourself. You stop lying to these folks. I don't care what we is. I don't care who's at the White House. You be lying. Stop that lying. And you know if we got it, you got it. You know it's a young man working in water department that when you made sure the other folks got their money the next day. Stop doing it. That's why I try to get off these calls, because you'll make me say some stuff to you that I shouldn't say, because you be playing games with these employees. You got your picks and choose, but all these employees are employees of the city of Helena-West. You fake, and you be playing games with these employees. Stop having your picks and chooses and your buddies and your kissing partners. Stop doing it. Treat all these employees fair. Because you got folks that you want to get $8,000, $9,000 raise, but you don't want to tell folks that. But then you're gonna come back and blame the city council when these folks, when we can't make payroll. Y'all, I ain't playing them kind of games with you. And that's how I feel. Stop lying. Tell the truth. You know what it is. But if them employees start talking to the city council, you mad. You want to holler about, don't believe nothing Councilman Franklin said. He lied. Don't bring up my name. You the liar.
Okay, does anybody else want to talk about what department do we want to take on next, I guess is the question. So we have fire department, police department, we just did public works, we have water department, and we have administration. Unless I've left somebody out. I don't think so. So, since we didn't want to go alphabetically, we've done district court, we've done public works. Anybody want to suggest the next department?
There were.
What is in fire? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Miss Davis.
Go ahead. I was questioning about the fire department. What were we?
That's what. Well, the ones that were in there were some other structural changes some structural payroll changes that they needed because of the minimum wage increase, and it bunched a bunch of firemen together. I think some may be 30 cents apart of different ranks. But the one that was in I think it was two. I think it was the assistant chief requested to be moved from 48 to 52, and the administrative chief was supposed to be moved from whatever he was making to 40. And I have to look at here to see what. Let me see. The administrative captain was being requested to move from 35 to 40. And the assistant chief was a request to move him from 48.5 to 52.
So, Mr. Turner's laid out. So we'll take on the fire department. Okay, with me. If there's no objection, we'll discuss the fire department. Any questions, Mr. Turner, on what he was talking about there? Any comments, motions? Does anybody want to take up the fire department? Just throw it out there for anybody.
Can y'all tell me again what the administrator?
The administrative captain there was a request to increase his pay from 35,000 to 40,000. And for the assistant chief from 48.5 to 52.
Is the administrative captain, is that in the budget?
Yes. I don't know if you remember, but the chief came in last year and requested one of the captains be taken off the 24-hour shift and be put on a regular administrative 8-hour a day shift. And so that is the captain that he wants, that he requested to be moved from 35,000 to 40,000.
And he said something about 52,000.
Yeah, that was
Is that
for the assistant chief. Yes, sir.
so? Can we go 50? Okay, what is the current salary?
48,500.
Yeah. I'm at think of the body, whatever they want to do. Let's go. Whatever the body want to do for anybody, let's go.
What is the current pay for the assistant police chief?
That was another one.
48.
He requested. He's also the same. So they were requesting the same amount for both of those positions, from 48,500 to 52,000.
Hey, Mr. Turner, hey, tell me how would all these affect the budget and where our numbers be? And if you said it was good, let's go for it. Whatever. Let's make the mayor happy so he can get some of these lives together. So tell me how this reflects the budget. Can you as the treasurer go along with these numbers and all these raises they're asking for? Do you think?
Well,
I know because I or the mayor, because watch this. Are we gonna get some more of this pandemic money in, so we can have offset some of these costs? So if we gonna get some more, how much pandemic money we got left? That's the question. Because if we can pay some of this pandemic money, let's go for it. So, Mr. Mayor, do anybody know how much pandemic money we got left? Because we got enough pandemic money to take care of these raises, give them to them. If everybody want to be happy, give everybody what they want. If there's enough money in pandemic, give it to them. And then when y'all start hollering about we can't make payroll, I'm the same person. I'm gonna be like a reach. I'm gonna give y'all some y'all can feel. If that's what y'all want to do, let's go. So if you can tell me how much pandemic handle these raises throughout this year, and if the mayor can tell me some business something to come through here, so we can get some revenue, so we can help pay these folks, and I'm for it too. So, if Mr. Turner, you can tell me that we have the revenue, that we have the money from the pandemic pay left to do it, let's do it.
Well, Mr. Franklin, I don't know how much revenue is left from the pandemic payment. That went into general funds. So there was general fund revenue. Goes to reimbursement on police salaries, and so they reimbursed us for police salaries, and that money went back into the general fund.
Okay. So
as the budget is concerned, you guys freed up $340 from the police salaries. If you want to use those appropriations to give the people you want to give raises to, that is the city council's prerogative. The city council is responsible for the financial management of the city, and the city council wants to use those appropriations to give raises. That is that body's prerogative.
Well, see, this come from the administration recommendation. The people decide this is what they want to give their people. I'm asking this. I want to know that can we survive this dive? If what they've been asking for it, I want to make sure people get what they're asking for. I don't have my phone. I'm on the phone, but I need to know. Can you tell what we have in the bank, in the Ozark and general fund? Because we got some more months to go. But it's gonna keep coming up. So
yeah, I can look at the March report and tell you what the March report says we have, but that's not useful when you're trying to determine how much you want to pay your employees. You guys, the city council, adopts a budget, and like I said, you're responsible for the financial management of the city. You had $300,000 in appropriations which is an authorization to spend money. And if you want to use it to increase salaries, that is the city council's prerogative.
Let me say this, there's no guarantee that there'll be pandemic money this year because the truth is, we did not, but mainly because we received pandemic money last year, that's not guaranteed that we'll get it this year. But more importantly, the answer is when we did the budget that I submitted, and we did it without consideration for pandemic monies, because that's not an ongoing thing. We had an actual, what I'd call a real budget surplus of $250,000. And so going forward, we had to look at a variety of things. One was, one is the COLA increase, one is the minimum wage increase and how much that costs. And then the other one is the loss of revenue from the sales tax to the jail. And then and we also had to consider census count impacts on our revenue. We don't know what that is yet, but we are presuming that that's going to reduce our state turnback funds and other funds. So we budgeted it very conservatively, but the good news is we've been very restrained and conservative in the management of the city the last 2 years.
I doubt that.
That allows us, along with the water sewer sanitation increases, us to move forward confidently that we won't have to roll back the COLA, that we can make payroll confidently, and that we can award these raises and sustain them throughout future years, regardless of pandemic money. So that's the answer to that question. Other questions or comments about the fire department?
Give them what they want. So move, whatever y'all got. Let's go. Give them what they want. It's a good night. You said we got it, Kevin. I'm a believe in you. So move.
Good.
Okay, so Mr. Franklin moves adoption of the raises for the fire department. Did I say that correctly?
No, because I want you to put the police department in there, because the assistant chief is the only person on the police side needs to raise. Because
we can
I
do
sure
that.
about the police chief too.
And I would support that, but we agreed to go department by department. So
Hey, wait, just come on in. Come on.
that was a suggestion from the council, not from me.
Just come on. Let's get them.
So is there a second to Mr. Franklin's motion regarding the fire department raises? Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Crockett, I believe, was seconding the motion to approve the raises for the fire department, made by Mr. Franklin. Any other conversation or questions about the motion? If
I
not,
have a question. I have a
I'm sorry.
question.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when we said raises for the fire department, who does that include? Because I thought we were just talking about the administrative captain and the assistant chief.
Those were the only two. But I did discuss some structural payroll changes that need to be dealt with because of the minimum wage increase. And like I said, a lot of those firemen from different ranks are kind of bunched up together, but we can kind of try to address that later. But those were the two that were part of that original proposed budget that you guys kind of wanted me to pull that money back first and then give the COLA. And then, as Dave said, she would that the city council would address it later. So it was only those two.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good question. Mr. Turner, we've done everything we need to do for the chief, the fire chief, I mean, in that motion. Is there anything on the fire chief that we need to do?
Those were the only two positions that he requested. And then they said they would deal with the other ones later. He would discuss it with the council later.
Okay. All right, well, there's a motion and a second on the table. Any other questions or comments about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Crockett,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Etherly.
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. St. Columbia just sent a text that his internet has gone down and he's lost the meeting. So that makes it 5 yes.
That's enough for passage. So thank you very much for that. So motion passes on the fire department. So I guess we'll go to the police department since we were talking about the assistant chief. We'll move on to that.
I got a question. I know you don't like that, but here, this is what it is. I just don't think it's fair that and I'm gonna tell Joe, and I want you to tell him because when it's something on the agenda that you got, Joe always there. But when he every time it comes for somebody else, then he just sit here and say that he support a raises. But when it comes to raises, and I don't see your cheerleaders in this group chat no more, tell me go Joe. Now every time it comes to somebody else, when you got what you want, Joe right there, he's your biggest cheerleader. But these other employees, some of them voted for Joe too. So you need to get Joe together, because see, when it comes time for voting, Joe ain't nowhere to be found for these other employees. He say for them. You don't need no internet. You got data on your phone. Now, the only person in the police department is asking for something is the assistant chief. I move that we get him what he needs, what he's asking for.
Mr. Turner, is there anything else on the police department side that's that was taken out? Because the conversation is about the raises that were removed.
No, I told the council at the time during the budget workshops that the police chief felt pretty satisfied with where he was right now at the current salary structure.
He ain't even here.
He felt that it was competitive, and so that was the only person that he recommended the increase for was his assistant chief from 48.5 to 52.
Okay, Mr. Franklin made the motion that we adopt the increases for the police department regarding the assistant chief being the only person included in that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Davis seconds the motion. Any questions or comments about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Etherly,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes, ma'am.
Davis,
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia is still not on, so that'd be 5 yes.
Motion passes. So we've done public works, we've done fire department, police department. That leaves we've done district court, so that leaves water department and administration. Unless I'm forgetting somebody, I don't think so.
I take the water department, Kenny. Since since you have you forget a lot, there's some employees here that are listed in full-time. You said we passed a resolution for maintenance and heavy equipment operators. You got there's 1, 2, 3, maybe I see 6 people here that didn't get a raise besides the other 2 people that you made sure they got their raise the next morning. So I'm asking you to give those people, I don't know, I forgot the number, but I would like to, well, you all know the number that you decided to give these folks, and you got some folks who got their licenses that I've given to you, and you didn't do nothing with that. But these other folks you take care of. I'm asking you again, I got a list right here. I asked Ms. Wesley to give to me, and we said, wasn't it Mr. Jones? If he's still on the line or the body, do y'all remember? We said anybody who operates heavy equipment would get that raise. Do anybody remember that? When the water department, if they had that, because we did same across for Mr. Jones' department and the landfill department as well. If they were operating heavy equipment, we gave them a raise. Do anybody remember that just a couple weeks ago?
I remember us discussing that it didn't have to be the experience with the city, it was just experience, period.
Thank you, Ms. Crockett. And that is correct. So, Mr. Mayor, I want you to, if you will, I move to the mayor to get with Mrs. Wesley or your what you call the person over the water department there? Since we're in trouble with that too. Interim director, get with him. And y'all see what y'all can get these folks over there, because you didn't follow it by the book. You only took care of the people that you take care of. I'm asking you nicely. Because the people got their money, and these other folks didn't get nothing. So I would like to see it retroactive when we gave them folks their money.
So what's your motion?
You heard it. You figured it out.
Well, if your motion is that we give those eligible for heavy equipment operator raises based on what the city council has already approved, then as far as I am aware, we're already doing that.
I'm telling you, Mayor, I'm telling you, you didn't.
Let me finish.
You didn't.
If there's anyone who is not, who has not gotten the increase according to the raise that the city council passed, who should have, and then I would ask for that to be immediately brought to my attention, and I will make sure it's retroactively provided to the date that it was provided for others according to the city council's approval. And I say that publicly, and I have no reservation about it. The only thing, when I heard about it and asked about it, and this is all anecdotal because I haven't received anything in writing, I was told that the people who were alerted about it, later we saw that they were already making more than they would have with the raise. So it would actually be a decrease in pay. So they were already making in excess of what the city council approved. But if that's incorrect, then I would be the first to say, please get that to me in writing. The issue about heavy equipment operators and their pay. And if that's incorrect, then we'll get it corrected. But I'm basing that on the information that I get from the water department in our budget and base pay ordinances. So, and the ordinance that was passed. So I don't have any problem agreeing with that. We don't need a motion. We've already approved that.
I understand,
I will check into it though, and I'll report back to the next meeting. Anybody that, or just whatever comes of it, and accordingly. So there's certainly nobody that anybody is knowingly not given a raise to who qualifies and who would benefit from that raise. Of course, nobody making more than that would want to go down. So that's what I was told, but that's anecdotal. So if I get anything in writing explaining that, then I will definitely rectify it. And while I'm not a big fan of retroactive things, if that's the case, then I don't have any problem with retroactivity in this case. And I think it's justified, but I haven't seen any evidence of that. At least I haven't. But if I do, I will. And and regardless of what happens, I'll report back on it at the next meeting. So the question for the council though would be, so there really doesn't need to be a motion on that because motion and all that's already been done on it. I just need to make sure that it's being followed correctly, and I'll do that report back. But on the larger issue of the water department itself, are there any members who want to discuss that?
I was trying to say this, Mayor. There is an issue with that, Mayor. I understand. We can't call names, so I can't call these people names. But they did not receive the heavy equipment operator pay. And the motion was not stated if they made more money, if they didn't qualify for it. We said every equipment operator, heavy equipment operator to be paid. So I don't know where you getting this thing at saying that it would take them down, because that's the case. You got other folks. You put these folks in maintenance and heavy equipment operator so they could get brought up. If they were operating a backhoe or whatever the case, that's heavy equipment operator. Anybody in that water department who is operating heavy equipment was supposed to get a raise. You know that a lot of them folks did. I don't care if they're making $20 an hour. If they operate the equipment and have not been paid for it, they were supposed to be paid for it. That's the thing. You know, here we go again. You know, you like
if they're making $20,
I just said
they're
that,
making
you know,
more than what the ordinance called for. Them to be paid
come on,
already.
Kevin,
Why would they want to go back? Why would they want to go back?
If they were making $20, Kevin, you know, there may be some people in the city make that, but you know these folks in the water department ain't making that. So you know what I'm saying. So don't do that. Don't do that. Because what I'm telling you is you got a couple of young men who have not been paid the heavy equipment operator pay. So, and it was not stated if they wasn't making that, they should go down. If they have not been paid coming into the city, if they are working heavy equipment, they should be paid the $2 or the dollar, whatever the thing was. You got these other folks got it the next day. So stop acting like you don't understand. I know my voice sound that bad. I know I don't sound good, but dang, don't play me like I'm ignorant when I know what motion was made because I voted for it. You got hand-picked people that you take care of. You know them campaign promises you make. I don't want to go in into the night. I'm trying to be a little nice.
Everybody, for the record, everybody who's a heavy equipment operator who met the qualifications of that ordinance, as far as I'm concerned, you got to raise the next day or the next for certain pay period. And anybody who was left out who deserved that pay, I would like to know about it. And so I'll leave it at that. And then I'll report back at the next meeting. That's all I can do. But nobody has presented that to me, except for anecdotally, and those people were making way more than minimum wage. So, or the wage that was approved by the council for heavy equipment operators. So, having said that, do we want to talk about anything else with the water department that we haven't already done?
The people that they have the license.
Listen, Mr. Turner, do you have any, you want to just review, or do we have anything we want to review regarding the water department for the council to consider? Let me ask that.
The people that got their license there, I think that you have that because I got a copy of the people who have licenses that you were supposed to take care. So for having license, wastewater treatment license, who have recently got license, you need to address that. Is
there anything, Ms. Turner, in the budget that was taken out so that we can approve a budget by the statutory deadline that we need to consider tonight to put back in? It's not dealing with heavy equipment operators, which we've already done.
No, sir.
Okay. So are there any other actions beyond that regarding the water department that anybody wants to make a motion about?
I make a motion to give those people who recently got licenses, I think you said $1 or something, that recently have gotten licenses in the water department. We got 2 people on the wastewater treatment that have gotten licenses recently in the last, because we said that we was going to take care of these people who got these licenses, because unfortunately, if we lose people that have licenses, we'll have no water department. So I think we should take care of those people who have gotten their license and did what they were supposed to do. So what was it recommended, Mr. Turner? Was it $1?
Yeah. Is that for all departments? Is that gonna be for all
Mr. John, Mr. Jones, no. We're at the water department right now. So I'm trying to make sure that because this is, the water department people got their license. The mayor is strongly always encouraging that we want to pay our people that get their license. So mayor, these folks got license. So what are we gonna do? Is it $1 per license or $1 for the license itself? Tell me, Kevin, what you want to do?
Well, I mean, my opinion on it, I don't know what the council's position has been on it in the past or what's been approved. Let me put it a different way. I don't know what's been approved in budgets in the past. I can only speak going forward. That I can speak going forward that yes, we should incentivize licenses in the water department and certifications, and I would be supportive of that.
Okay, what's your amount, Mr. Mayor? I mean, Kevin, what's your amount? Is it $1 for each license? 50 cents? What is your plan, Kevin? Because I want to make sure we get it right.
It's not my plan. It's the plan of the Arkansas
Oh,
Water Association.
Okay, so what you always giving us recommendation from the state. So what's your recommendation, Kevin? Don't get quiet. Because I want to make sure we do everything that Kevin wants us to do.
I'm trying to answer you if you let me.
Come on.
There's a
Don't go the short way, not the long way. Go the short way, not the long way.
There's a program with the Arkansas Rural Water Development Association that we have entered into to get more licensing. And included in that agreement is that we give them a raise upon completion of their license. Mr. Turner, I don't know if you can remember off the top of your head, but $1.50 was approximately what I remember. What do you remember from it?
I don't remember.
But basically, the agreement is that they get it once they complete it. And I agree with that. It doesn't have to be done tonight, but
yeah,
if I may, gentlemen, if I may, and I say gentlemen only because I'm addressing the Mr. Franklin and Mr. Mayor, because what we had discussed was you all going to come up with a number. We're going to put in the base pay, just as at the bottom of the base pay you currently have variations for licenses, etc. And as soon as you all do that, we can amend the base pay and it'd be done as relates to the licenses. And to address the issue, I know we're dealing with the water department, but we were trying to do it for all departments in the base pay, so you won't have to come back to it again. It'll be automatic upon them receiving whatever license there is. And that's what you all were discussing overall about the licenses and how you're going to do it. And we were going to put it all in a comprehensive portion in the base pay, so that this mayor or any future mayor wouldn't have to come back and do it. It automatically would occur upon receiving of the pertinent licensure.
so as far as I know, nobody's completed the Rural Water Association program yet, but as soon as they do, it's incumbent on us to appropriate that money accordingly. So that's what I'm in favor of.
But Mayor, we these people have went and got licensed and have gotten certified, so they deserve something. We asked them to go back to school, we asked them to go to class and pass, and they've done that. So you don't recommend they get anything?
I can't speak for what you've done before. You can speak.
Oh, okay. Well, then I got something.
I can only speak going forward. If they get their licenses, then yes, I think they should get a raise. Absolutely.
Well, I got this. I like to make most of the people who have recently got their license, who Miss Wesley and what's the first name of the water department? Is it Jack Ross? The department, whoever the department head is over the water department, you get with them and look at these folks who had a license. My motion is to give them $1 for their license.
So your motion is to give $1 additional pay for anybody in the water department who has a license,
who got their water waste license. Any of those licenses that require, some folks have gotten their money and have gotten their license, not been paid for. And I think we should take care of those people. Can go back and help keep our water safe, because I think our water, we're in a little trouble right now from this letter I saw today. So I think we need to make sure we pay these folks, whoever they are. If they show their license for the license they have, if it's $1 per license or whatever you're gonna do, I just think that we need to give them $1 for the licenses. Whoever, for the people who recently got their license. Yes, that's what it is. Yes.
Mr. Turner.
Hey, honey.
Do you have any idea of what the revenue impact would be if we gave $1 raise to everybody who who has an existing water license other than those who are exempt employees and on salary?
No, I have no idea.
Thank you, Mr. Turner, but I don't know why he asked you that. He didn't ask you about these other employees that he's been the people that he's been filling out raises to. So I don't understand why you would ask this question about these people when you asked them to get the license and they got him. Stop playing games with these folks. And if it's going, with all the raises we're gonna get tonight, surely it's gonna impact the budget in some way, Kevin. So don't do that, Kevin, because I don't want to play your game tonight, but I see you want to play, and I'm gonna hit every time you throw a ball, I'm gonna hit it out the park. So what's next? So if the motion don't get if the motion don't get a second, let it fail. But there it is.
I have a practical. If I may, Mr. Franklin, I have a practical question, because it sounds like you and the mayor are talking about two different things. Are you saying everybody? Are you trying to give everybody $1 for every license they have in the department? Or are you talking about the people that recently got them in 2021 or 2020? I didn't have clarity as to what you were specifically trying to do. So could you clarify that for us all?
Yes,
or at least for me.
Mr. Okay, there were people who recently got licenses who were told if they go back and pass these classes under former administration or whatever, it maybe two guys that I know should have gotten these licenses, and they should be compensated for it. That's what we told them. If they go get trained to stay at our water department, we should give them something. We gave people with no license a high dollar raise, but we can't get these folks who have come here, who are staying with the city, who watch these other folks get a raise and they ain't get nothing. That's crazy. But you'll pay somebody who would have the potential to obtain a license $60,000. But people who come and get some certificates to better themselves for this city, you want to tell them to give them a pat on the back. But you got some folks you will pay $10,000 to come here and diagnose a problem and they ain't got a license. No.
So in specificity, you're saying the people that were saying license in 2020 and 2021. Is that the group?
Let's go back probably to 20. I think the folks probably got the license. It was in the last 2 years. They recently, it's just two people. We can't call names, but they got the licenses. It's two people. I mean, they know who they are.
So you're saying are you saying basically from the time that this mayor has been in office forward?
Let's go at 2 years, just a year before that. Maybe that's it. Because I think they came in up under the Hollywood administration. The second year these people came in. One of the young men been with the city longer than that, but he went back and got the wastewater treatment license. Both of them had those 1 and 2. So that's what I'm saying. See, we can't, we cannot call names. So I don't want to put these people out here, but they have gotten their license, Mr. Dallas. And that's what I'm saying. If I could call, I don't want to call their names and put them on the spot, but they have obtained the license and they were told that if you get a license, they will do this. That's why a lot of our other people that work for the water department has left, because they were made promises that people couldn't keep. But it's these folks got license, and I don't, we can't call names. But that's my thing, if we can do that.
So what's your motion?
I'll tell you what my motion would be, but it get me in trouble. My motion is
we need to know what the motion.
Well, if you be quiet, I'm talking. My motion is to the people. Some people that give a dollar raise to the people who have gotten their certification in the past 3 years. That should cover those people.
Is that retroactive or prospective?
No, we're going forward because retroactive. You'll be crying in.
So anybody who has gotten their license in the last 3 calendar years.
Any license or certification in the last 3 years, that should cover them.
Going back to January 2018.
Yeah.
Anybody who's gotten a license in the water department going forward from
license and or certification.
Or certification from January 2018 going forward shall receive a $1 increase in their wages if they are hourly employees prospectively from tonight. Did I say that correctly?
Finally, I'm proud of you, Ken. You're doing such a good job. Yes.
Is there a second for the motion?
Second.
Was that Ms. Crockett? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Crockett
Yes.
seconds the motion. Any discussion or questions about the motion? I guess the only question I was, so prospectively, we don't have a revenue impact on it. But I've always supported raises going back to early 2019. And so I don't object to it. I wish I knew the revenue impact of it. But the motion's been made and seconded. That'd be my only comment. Any other comments or questions?
Yes, Mr. Turner, do you know how that would impact?
No, ma'am, I don't think it would, I don't think it would be that many people, actually. I mean, I don't know.
If it's only for 2 people?
Yeah, I mean, no, not at all. Like I said, but I don't know, but like I said, I wouldn't guess that it was that many people. So I would guess that. I don't think you mean revenue impact. I think you mean the budget impact. It's not going to affect the revenue. It's what it's going to.
I'm sorry. Yeah, budget. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
But I can't. I don't know, but I couldn't imagine that there are that many people that it would have any significant impact on the budget. But that's just my guess.
Any other questions or comments about the motion? All right, if not, call the roll.
Mr. St. Columbia, Mr.
Here.
St. Columbia,
Yeah.
okay, Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Franklin,
Yes.
Mr. Etherly,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
All right, then.
Ms. Crockett,
Yes.
it's 5 yes. Mr. St. Columbia's gone back offline. Okay,
Motion passes. Okay, so that leaves, if I'm not mistaken, just the administration department. Mr. Turner, you want to review that for us?
There was a request for the chief of staff from 3921 to 48,000. A request for the chief deputy clerk from 40,706 to 50,000. A request for the payroll clerk from 32,386 to 36,546. And there was a request for the secretary, the city attorney's office from 32,386 to 36,546.
I have a question. I have a question. Mr. Valley.
Yes.
Is your secretary that you evaluate her, right? Do you evaluate who evaluates her?
She's my only employee that I evaluate her.
Oh, okay. So it's 30. Is it 36? What you want to take it? What you want to take it to?
I think the budget in that said 36,546 is what the budget said. That was the budget. I had submitted $2.75 an hour. I think it's a little less than that. She currently makes $15 an hour. Yes.
Mr. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. And then forgive me for that. I just want to hold you right there. Now, she currently makes how much an hour?
15.
Oh, so
Well, let me be accurate. It's 1557 to be completely. 1557.
So she's actually equivalent with the court clerk, right? So we just let's take her up. I mean, you know, if that's the number, let's go for it. I moved for Mr. Valley.
Well, let me pause for a second. When I met with Mr. Turner, we were trying to do the budget. I talked to him. I talked to Ms. Simpson, and the number was to try to bring parity between her and Miss Clash. They both have been here 22 years at the time we're doing the budget. And the issue was that before you all raised the clerks another $1.25 tonight. And so part of the issue that they were dealing with is Ms. Simpson has been here. She was a deputy clerk for years before consolidation. She's done all of those roles. She also is my secretary. She doesn't work for the clerk's office anymore. She only works for my office. But in considering, since the last time she had the raise, the clerks in comparison have had 2 sets of raises. They got a raise from Judge King last year. Then they come back and get a raise now from Judge Carter based on what is transpired tonight. And so in discussing with Ms. Simpson, I still would just request $2.75 an hour as it relates to her specific pay raise. And so that's what I would have placed before you now on her behalf.
Mr. Valley.
Yes, sir.
So are you saying even with what the good judge just recommended for his post, what the good judge just did, are you considering that as well, or have you not put that into account for your court? Because see, they just got a raise, right? So tonight, so would you like to change that? So because she coincided.
Right. I haven't run the numbers during this meeting. My request was $2.75 an hour. If it needs to be adjusted later, then maybe adjusted later. But tonight I still stand by that request of $2.75 an hour.
Yes, sir. And I move to give Mr. Valley's clerk to $2.75 an hour, and we can look further to see how, because she's been there 20 plus years. Well, let me just make the motion. I make a motion. We give Mr.
Can I tell you how much that'll be, if you don't mind?
Oh no, Mr. Turner, we ain't gonna worry about that. Let's go ahead and move. I'm trying to, because I'm about to leave y'all in a minute. I'm trying to get this on the road.
Okay.
So my motion is to approve the $2.75 for Mr. Valley's secretary.
Second.
Okay, so Mr. Franklin has moved that we adopt the recommended salary increase for the secretary in the city clerk's office, and seconded by
City attorney.
What did I say? City clerk. I'm sorry, city attorney. Any other discussion or questions about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. Mr. Turner.
This vote for everybody?
I'm sorry.
Is this vote for everybody that was mentioned?
I think the motion was just for the city attorneys.
Okay.
How much is it gonna be a year, Mr. Turner?
38,105.60. Okay.
Say that again.
Mr. Turner.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought it was going from 32,386 to 36,546 is what you said a minute ago. How did that change to 38?
But Mr. Valley requested $2.75 on top of what she currently makes. And so that would come out to be $1,832. And that $1,832 annualized would be $38,105.60.
So you saying giving her a $2.75 raise would be $18,000 a year?
No, I said no. She makes $1,557 now.
Mm-hmm.
Plus $275, that would be $1,832.
Okay, so how?
The $1,832 annualized would be $38,105.60.
How much was it at the 36 or whatever he recommended?
How much
in the budget?
Hourly? How much was it? How much was the hourly rate?
Yes.
36,546.
Yeah, so how much would that be hourly? Because I don't have a calculator right in front of me.
1757.
So that was at like a $2 raise an hour.
Yeah, exactly $2 actually.
And what are you recommending now, Mr. Val?
Well, what I said was 275. Is what I said.
And that was a motion.
The motion was $2.
The motion was 275.
275. 275.
What are we waiting
So-
on?
Any other questions or comments about the motion? There's a motion on the table. Somebody want to restate the motion? Ms. Ramsey, can you read it back?
It was the motion by Franklin, seconded by Davis, to increase the city attorney's secretary to 38,105.60 or 18.32 an hour.
So any other questions or comments about the motion stated? All right, if not, call the roll.
Crockett,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Etherly,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
5 yes. Mr. St. Columbia is still offline.
Motion passes. Okay, so the rest of the administration budget, what are the other two positions, Mr. Turner, you want to remind us?
The payroll clerk.
I think it's,
like-
there are three, I'm sorry. Mr. Turner, tell us where we are.
The chief of staff was from 39,21 to 48,000. The chief deputy city clerk was from $40,706 to 50,000. And the payroll clerk was from 32,656 to 36,2.
Okay, so any questions about those positions?
36,546 to 36,546.
I think this.
It says, say that again, I'm sorry.
For which one? Ms. Davis?
The last one. The
Uh,
payroll clerk.
Payroll clerk was initially from 32,656 to 36,546.
Why don't you change her just like you did Miss Simpson to 38,105.60?
I'm fine with it, Ms. Ramsey. I make the motion to take care of those two people, Ms. Sandy supervisors, to those numbers with the changes she just made for the payroll clerk. Let's go. Let's go. Can I get a second, somebody, please?
Is that the payroll clerk only?
No. The payroll clerk and the deputy clerk over there. Ain't that what she? The other lady next to her car.
She
let's take it over.
already makes more than 38.
No, Ms. Ramsey.
You mean take her to 50?
Yeah, what she was asking, what you requested for them.
50, yes.
Because you supervise those two ladies, right?
Yes, I do.
That's a good. So can you tell me, are they good workers on your own time? Do they do what you need them to do? Well, you know what they are. You ask for the rate, the money. I
Well,
want to give
I'll
you.
put it to you like this, Mr. Franklin. If they weren't good, they wouldn't be sitting behind the desk.
Man, I like that about you because you're thorough, but I want to go ahead and get that motion taken care of. So you're supposed to have come on to work early tomorrow.
So Mr. Franklin moves adoption of the raises as proposed in the restored to the budget. Is there a second? In the city clerk's office? Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Crockett seconds the motion. Any other discussion or questions about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Davis,
Yes.
Etherly,
Yes.
Frank- Franklin,
We got Gavin Walker.
Yes, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
5 yes. Mr. St. Columbia is still offline.
And motion passes. So that only leaves, I believe, the mayor's office, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Mr. Turner? So I think he's on mute, but I think y'all are familiar with it. Mr. Turner, you're on mute, I think.
It was the chief of staff was from $39,021 to $48,000. And I also neglected to mention the one of the code enforcement officers was suggested to go from 28,000 to 30,000.
Okay. So we've discussed these before, so I won't belabor the issue. Any questions or comments about it?
I have a question. How much raise did the human resource chief of staff did they get last year?
Actually, the human resource officer,
Not the human resource, I'm talking about the chief of staff.
I don't believe there was any raise last year. There wasn't, Ms. Turner, is that right? We didn't have raises last year.
Mr. Turner,
Yes, ma'am.
when did we give the raise to the chief of staff?
That was during Jay's administration. I don't know exactly what year.
No, sir, we gave a raise since Mr. Smith has been there.
Right, that was year before.
That's not correct, Ms. Crockett. That was when Jay was that was when Mr. Hollowell was mayor.
That's right. No, this is.
That was at night. That was at night where they asked for 32, and y'all said give a 38 or 39 or something.
Mr. Ed, you know that was me. Me and Mr. Huff. We kicked the ball at the park that night. Everybody got believe.
Well, like I said, I don't want to belabor it. Or. You know,
Well, I got this to say. With the chief of staff. Now, one thing I can say about the chief of staff, they work, and I'd like to see, you know, and Kevin, Kevin, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm doing this because that person truly works as well as the other people. Yeah, I know you have I know you're their supervisor. I mean, you know, this is it for me. I want to see the person did what's proposed in the budget. Not for you, but for them, because they out. I don't want to say it to hurt your feelings, but that's a good worker that you have. Make sure we get stuff that we need. But I'm sure glad you're not on the block asking for nothing. But I make a motion to give the chief of staff what is being proposed by her supervisor.
What about code? Did we do both of these together?
Wait a minute. Who is the code person? I mean,
it was the code to bring. We were gonna have two paid at 30,000, and if they had another, it was gonna be 26, 28, whatever the difference was.
Well, you got to make sure that he, you know how he does it. He got his picks and choose. So yeah, let's tie them together So when you swipe, when you hit that button, both of them get theirs. But you know, he'll act like he don't remember. He got some timers. So I moved at the code enforcement and the chief of staff to see what is being proposed, because they do a job.
Mr. Franklin has moved that we include the chief of staff and the code enforcement officer and raises as proposed. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Crockett seconds the motion. Any discussion or questions about the motion? If not, call the roll.
Franklin. Mr. Franklin.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Williams. I'm sorry. They didn't. The mayor got me mute. You know how he do me.
Davis.
Yes.
Crockett. Ms. Crockett.
Yes.
Mr. Etherly.
Yes.
Ms. Ford.
Yes.
5 yes, 1 absent.
Excuse me, everybody, did we get, and maybe I forgot, did we get the police, assistant police chief? Did we do that?
Yeah, we did that. We
Yes,
did
we did him.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Sandy, tell me what was roll call again?
5 yes, 1 absent.
Motion passes. All right, thank y'all very much. And Ms. Turner, does that exhaust all of the issues?
Yes,
on
sir.
that?
Yes.
Thank y'all very much. That was a lot of work to do.
I got one question, Mary, before you leave, before y'all leave.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm asking y'all, can y'all reconsider tonight for me getting this asphalt machine? We spending $2,000 some a week when we can be doing this work ourselves. I mean, I'm asking that we go ahead on and purchase this asphalt machine. It will save us a lot of money. I'm asking the council, can you please do this tonight?
As I stated earlier, you all have to move to amend the agenda to add that to the agenda.
I mean, because as long as
I'm just opening it up for discussion, and I would like to consider Mr. Heatherly's too, if we do that. I don't think there's much discussion to be on it. If Mr. Heatherly's still on here, I think there is.
He just started the MT.
It's up to you. It's up to you. Your call. I mean, I'm for both motions or both ordinances.
And Mr. Jones, I understand what you're saying, but see, you know, that would be like, you know, you could try to see if you can get a special call meeting, because I understand what you're saying, but Ms. Ford it has already set the precedent, or the ordinance really has said it. The mayor should, because the only thing that was on the agenda tonight was to handle these raises. Now, it's some other stuff that I had.
You want me to put it on the next agenda?
Yes, sir, if you will, and I'll be the first person to consider that for you. But as of tonight, I mean, I want to kind of keep it the way it is. So
okay, I understand.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other business to come before the council tonight? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Quick, fast, and hurry. Move to adjourn.
Good evening, everyone.
Moves adjournment. Is there a second?
I second.
I think I heard second. I don't know who said it. If there's no objection, then we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank y'all for your hard work tonight. Have a good evening.